Okay. So, good afternoon, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Starknet All Core Devs call number 39. And before we begin, a quick housekeeping items which are there. We'll be recording this session for those who could not join us live today. And please keep yourself muted when you are not speaking to minimize the background noises. And I also want to remind everyone that we have moved our call from 12 p.m. UTC up from the previous 11 a.m. slot. This new time will remain in effect through the end of March, hopefully. And we have five main agenda items to cover today. And I would like to keep us on a schedule to respect everyone's time. So let's get started. Uh, our first agenda item is the O14.1 network updates and timeline. So we have Ethan here who could provide us with the current status. And the topics which we would want to cover is integration, network deployment status, and the experience, and the RPC feedback, and any new updates on that end, and Poseidon to Blake hash migration, if there are any issues or edge cases.
Yes, thank you, Ayush. So in regards to 0.14.1, we are on track in terms of integration, deployment status, all things to do with development. What we have learned, or one of the challenges that has risen over the past week or so, is that the Starknet .rs SDK has ownership has moved to SVM, and as a part of their onboarding onto the SDK, we think that we might need to give them a bit more time to get on top of things before the release of testnet and mainnet. So I'm not able to confirm that we will release testnet and mainnet 0.14.1 as scheduled. There might be a pushback by a couple days. So in regards to the timeline, that's what we're looking at. In terms of the RPC, we haven't gotten too much feedback from 0.10.0, which in our, I guess no feedback's good feedback. It means that people have been able to work with it well, and there's no pushback on any of the new calls that were added to the RPC. In terms of Poseidon to Blake migration updates, so one of the discussions that we had on the full node channel this week was that calculating Blake hashes is computationally consuming, meaning that we are trying to work with the Juno and Pathfinder teams on how we can calculate these hashes ahead of time so that certain RPC calls like Starknet simulate transaction and whatnot won't take up as much time as they would if they need to calculate these hashes in real time. So that is probably the main focus on in terms of Poseidon to Blake migration and the full node teams. Aside from that, I don't think I have anything else to really update.
Okay. But could you give us a timeline for the testnet and mainnet deployments, even though they are very vague, but still, if we can have some timeline in mind?
If they get pushed back, the assumption is that it could get pushed back to up to a week. So that is what we're looking at. And I'll have more.
Okay,
I mean,
and
we'll get enough. What's that?
No, I was just going to ask, are there any more blockers or concerns that everyone should be aware of at this stage, apart from the Poseidon to Blake hash migration?
No, not as far as I'm aware at this time. The blocker, it seems to be Starknet.rs. It's even unrelated to these things that we're working on. So once we get a better picture on how long it will take them to onboard, then we'll know exactly the timeline. If it's pushed to a week, half a week, a couple days. But we have that hanging in the background, and that's why we're updating.
Okay. Thank you for this comprehensive update, Ethan. So let's now move on to our client teams. So we'll now hear from each of the client teams on their O14.1 readiness. And I would like to ask each team to keep their updates to approximately uh, 3 minutes, if possible, so we can hear from everyone. And we'll start with Pathfinder. So, Christian, could you share the Pathfinder's team's progress on these specific topics like O14.1 implementation progress and status, integration network syncing experience, and any recent releases or bug fixes that we have been doing?
Yeah, sure. So we have pretty much just merged the main PR that enables Pathfinder to sync Starknet 0.14.1. We have tested this over the integration network and there were no issues. As Eitan has mentioned, we are still working on improving execution by pre-computing Blake hashes for compiled classes ahead of time. Because actually we have realized pretty late during development that this is a new requirement for execution. So up to that point, we thought that we can pretty much avoid recomputing these class hashes altogether and just use the data that is published by the feeder gateway in blocks, but then realize that this is not the case. We do need to be able to do this calculation for execution, specifically for blockifier purposes. So we are just working on that. We do have a plan for that. So we hope to be able to release Pathfinder with the Chasm Blake hash pre-computation in place, hopefully by early next week or something like that. Regarding, so we also kind of have a complete implementation of JSON RPC 0.10.0, RC1, the latest spec that has been published. And we have also fixed a couple of JSON RPC issues, particularly an issue related to execution on top of the pre-confirmed state, where in certain cases we were missing some state updates. But this has hopefully been improved a lot since our last release. So the release we are cutting early next week will include those fixes too.
Okay. And are there any updates on the consensus implementation testing?
Oh, absolutely. We are continuously working on our consensus implementation. There were no major breakthroughs this time, but we are constantly implementing missing stuff.
Okay. Thank you, Christian. And now we can hear from Juno team by Rodrigo. So, Rodrigo, could you provide us the Juno team's update on O14.1 implementation progress and status, and um, a follow-up on the technical question from the last call, which is class has tries, and then about the recent releases and improvements that we have been doing. So did you receive any clarity on the class hash tries question you raised in the last call?
Yeah. Yeah. It was actually we talked with Ada after answer that because we were talking about so what's updating is the Chasm class hash and the keys that they try use is the Sierra class hash. So it is not as big as a change. Doesn't have to affect the tries at any point. So yeah,
Mhm.
clarification in that regard on the Starknet All 14.1. Yeah. We also have a branch which is syncing with all 14.1. We haven't fully implemented RPC v10. We still have some questions on the like it's not very clear to us because like when should the migrated class be part of the state diff and when shouldn't it be or because you have to the blockify don't give them for example so when you trace an execution should we include them or shouldn't we include them if we include them then we need to store the change in the blockchain if we don't include them we don't need to um, and then we also have to yeah, look at it's still, there are some things that are not very clear to us. The discussion is
Mhm.
continuing in the full note, so I think I'll have answer for those after. On the
Mhm.
other
So
side,
to
yeah,
quickly answer, to just quickly answer it now, the idea is to not include them in the state diff unless it's a Starknet get state update,
okay,
as you were asking. We can discuss it more in the channel.
okay, okay, and so that's basically it. And then on the we're also doing a lot of internal work of refactoring it and changing a few stuff. Like we are factoring the syncing package, refactoring the execution package, and we hope to make a release this Friday with a couple of bug fixes as well, and which include faster syncing, like was geared towards syncing when stacked blocks were to 30 seconds, and now with Starknet 14 blocks are very fast, and then is kind of like the default behavior we had is assuming 30 seconds, and then it was like not being catching up with the network as fast as it should. So now with this news, with these new values, is always on top of the network, and other bug fixes we found, and I think it really should be ready later today or early tomorrow. And that will be just bug fixes. And then another release with Starknet 014.1. We aim at maybe not next week, but the week after that. So so that's it on our site. And yeah, if you have any questions, then
Okay. So, but anyway, we are going to discuss this on the Slack channel, right? About the doubt which you had regarding class hashes.
yeah, no,
So,
yeah, I didn't just answer. So we don't we only
mhm.
include that part of get state update, so that makes our life a lot easier. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, thank you, Rodrigo. And now let's hear it from the Carnot team. So, we have Himank here who could share updates with us regarding O 14.0 completion status or O 14.1 work evaluation and any timelines that you guys have in mind. And then we have multi-block SNOS integration, L3 support progress. A lot of things are going on with you guys. Snap sync optimization, and yeah.
Yeah, thanks a lot for that, Ayush. So we have
Mm.
had 14.1 in the roadmap, but we've been heavily pushing forward with 14.0 releases, and for Madara and SNOS both. And I'm happy to announce that we are ready with the pre-releases for both of them, and we'll soon be picking up 14.1 and evaluating its timeline and everything. Um, so yeah, that's a big thing done from our side, that we're ready with Madara and SNOS pre-releases, and we'll be getting the releases out there soon. On the full node reorg side, that has been completed. We have been able to do a proper full node reorg implementation. We've also been working on a SnapSync implementation that possibly optimizes the syncing operation that our full node does by 5x. So it's playing around with the state trie logic a lot there, and it allows us to have a better syncing approach that we have. It's going to be released really soon. So that's on the
Mhm.
SnapSync. Yeah, that's majorly been on the Madara and SNOS side. Also on the orchestrator side, we have had better version handling system. So let's say Starknet grows from a version X to version Y, then we don't have to shut down our orchestrator and restart it. It just goes along with that. It supports multiple versions of Starknet along with it. So that's been working on, and it's ready now. One thing is that we are blocked on Herodotus even still for 14.2 aggregator, and we had a chat with them recently only, and I think they'll be able to finish it up real quick. So I hope by the next call we're done with that. So that's on the orchestrator side. And apart from that, on the Bootstrap side, we are ready with the V2. It's been added to the repo itself and it's working very well. Yeah, I think that concludes all of the updates that we have had.
Yeah. Thank you, Hemang, for that update. And now we can move to the network stability and performance, but I believe Ethan has already given us information about this. So next on we have consensus, but I don't see Yasmina present here.
I'm here. Sorry for the
So-
video. My Wi-Fi is a bit spotty at this point.
Okay.
I'm here.
Okay.
But
okay.
although
Okay.
they're
No
sorry,
worries.
I just can't
So-
turn off the video. Yeah.
Mhm.
So there's not
Yeah.
really
So
a major
we
update.
just wanted
Yeah.
to know.
Sorry, there's
No,
lag.
carry on. Sorry. Yeah.
No worries. So there's not really a major update because we're still waiting from the Circle folks when they're cut the release, hopefully sometime soon, and I'll keep you posted most likely on the share channel when that happens so that you all kind of get a heads up. But other than that, this hasn't been like much new development that's relevant here, and no hiccups or anything that's sort of worth of mentioning. So nothing major really on my side.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And thank you, Yasmina. And I wanted to ask the question with Ethan. Is there a planning that we are doing for O14.2 by any chance right now or no?
Good question. 0.14.2. I'll have more information on it for the next call. Currently, once we get some of it's a good question. I'll get back to you on it in the next call. Currently, there's discussions on it, but there's nothing concrete for us to put out there now in the sync. Hopefully, we'll have more to say on it next time.
Okay. No worries. Ethan. Okay. So we move on to the last section on our agenda, which is does anyone have any other topics that they would like to discuss or have any questions for the group? Because we still have 5 to 6 minutes left. If anyone has anything to say, they can raise their hand. Okay, so all right. If there's nothing else, then we can proceed to close the call. And so thank you everyone for joining today's call and for all the updates that we have shared. Just a few reminders before we close. Our next call is scheduled for Thursday, which is November 20th at 12 p.m. UTC. That's 2 weeks from today, same time. And remember, we are staying at this time, 12 p.m. UTC time slot through the end of March. The recording for this call will be published on YouTube and all the other places, and meeting notes will be shared on GitHub. So thank you for your time and contribution. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you in 2 weeks again.
Thanks, Ayush. Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.